Admiral Victor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the massive dreadnought Fist of Dominion. His 4 eyes scanned the display screens, showing the empty space around his fleet. 12 warships moved in perfect formation through the outer rim territories of the Galactic Empire. This was routine patrol duty, boring but necessary. Victor had served the Empire for 40 years. He had fought in 3 major wars and crushed 2 rebellions. His battle group was considered one of the finest in the Imperial fleet. The Fist of Dominion alone carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The other 11 ships could level entire planetary defenses. Together, they were unstoppable. "Admiral, we are approaching Sector 447, reported his navigation officer, a thin Velpari with green scales. Victor nodded. Sector 447 was marked as a restricted zone in Imperial records. It contained a primitive species called humans, who lived on a planet named Earth. The Empire had surveyed them 200 years ago and found nothing impressive. They were still fighting each other with crude nuclear weapons. The Empire had placed a quarantine around their system, waiting for them to mature as a civilization. It usually took primitive species 500 to 1,000 years to unify and become worthy of contact. "Keep standard distance from the restricted zone," Victor ordered. "We have no business with primitives today." "Yes, Admiral," the officer replied. Victor walked to the observation window. Space looked peaceful. Stars twinkled in the darkness. He thought about his home planet and his family waiting for him. Just 2 more months of patrol, then he could return home for vacation. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. "Admiral, unknown vessel detected," shouted the sensor officer, his voice filled with panic. Victor spun around. "Where?" "Emerging from Sector 447, sir. It came from the human quarantine zone." On screen, Victor commanded. The main display showed a ship unlike anything in Imperial records. It was smaller than his dreadnought, but larger than a cruiser. Its design was strange, smooth and curved where Imperial ships were angular and aggressive. It had no visible weapons ports. The hull seemed to shimmer and shift, like water reflecting light. "Identification?" Victor asked. The sensor officer frantically worked his console. "Nothing, sir. It matches no known design in our database. No Imperial markings, no registration codes, nothing." "Hail them," Victor ordered. "All frequencies." The communications officer tried for several minutes. "No response, Admiral. They are ignoring us." Victor felt a cold sensation in his stomach. Something was wrong. No ship traveled through Empire space without identification. It was the most basic law of the galaxy. "Battle stations," he announced calmly. "Weapons. Prepare a warning shot. Target their engines. Non-lethal force." The weapons officer, a massive Kretheon warrior named Dokamar, activated the targeting systems. "Targeting engines, sir?" "Locked and ready. Fire warning shot," Victor commanded. Dokamar pressed the firing control. Nothing happened. He pressed it again. Still nothing. "Sir, targeting system is malfunctioning. I cannot get a lock on the vessel." "What do you mean you cannot get a lock?" Victor demanded. "The ship appears on sensors, then vanishes, then reappears in a different location. Our computers cannot track it." Victor watched the main screen. The strange ship was moving in ways that should be impossible. It jumped from one position to another without crossing the space between. One moment it was 1,000 kilometers away. The next moment it was 500 kilometers away. Then it was back at 1,000 kilometers, but on the opposite side of the fleet. "Is it teleporting?" asked the navigation officer. "Impossible," Victor said. "Teleportation technology does not exist." But even as he said it, he knew he was watching something beyond Imperial understanding. "Admiral, the unknown vessel is accelerating toward us," warned the sensor officer. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Victor commanded. "Ready all weapons? If it attacks, destroy it." The 12 ships of Battle Group 7 began to move, creating a defensive formation around the Fist of Dominion. Their weapons powered up, ready to unleash devastating firepower. The unknown ship stopped moving. It hung in space, perfectly still. Then everything went wrong. The cruiser Morning Star exploded first. Not from external weapons fire, but from the inside. Its reactor went critical and tore the ship apart. 300 crew members died instantly. What happened? Victor shouted. Before anyone could answer, 2 more ships exploded. Then 3 more. The unknown vessel had not fired a single visible weapon. Yet Imperial warships were dying. "Admiral, our systems are failing," screamed the engineering officer. "Power fluctuations across all decks. I cannot control them." On the bridge screens, Victor watched his fleet die. Ships exploded or went dark, their power cores shut down. Escape pods launched from dying vessels, carrying survivors into empty space. Turn fire. "Someone destroy that ship," Victor ordered desperately. "We cannot target it, sir." Dokimar replied, "Our weapons will not lock." The fist of Dominion shuddered. Lights flickered. Console screens went dark, then came back online, then went dark again. "Engineering report," Victor demanded. "All systems compromised, Admiral. It is like something is inside our computers, turning everything off." Victor understood then. This was not a battle. It was an execution. The unknown vessel was not attacking with weapons. It was attacking with something else, something that reached inside Imperial ships and destroyed them from within. 10 of his 12 ships were gone. Only the Fist of Dominion and 1 destroyer remained. "Send emergency transmission to Imperial High Command," Victor ordered. "Tell them everything." The communications officer opened the channel. Victor stepped forward, his voice steady despite his fear. "This is Admiral Victor of Battle Group 7. We have encountered an unknown hostile vessel emerging from the human quarantine zone. It has destroyed our fleet. Repeat. Battle Group 7 is destroyed. The vessel uses unknown technology. It is not in our records. Nothing in our database matches its capabilities." The ship shuddered again. More systems failed. The bridge grew darker. "It is alone," Victor continued, his voice filled with disbelief. "Emperor, preserve us. It is only 1 ship. 1 ship has destroyed an entire battle group. Warn the Empire. Warn everyone. These humans are not primitive. They are the power died completely." Emergency lights provided only dim, red illumination. Victor looked at the main screen. Through the flickering display, he saw the unknown vessel. It hung in space, unmarked and undamaged. Then it simply vanished, as if it had never existed. Victor's final transmission reached Imperial High Command 7 hours later. By then, he and his crew were drifting in dead ships, waiting for rescue. Battle Group 7, pride of the 7th Fleet, had been eliminated in 8 minutes. The Empire immediately began searching its vast database. 10,000 species were recorded in Imperial knowledge. Millions of ship designs were cataloged, but nothing matched what Admiral Victor had encountered. The humans had introduced themselves to the galaxy, and the Empire was terrified. Part 2. Emergency session. The Imperial War Council chamber was massive, designed to remind everyone of the Empire's power. Holographic displays covered the walls, showing maps of controlled territory spanning thousands of star systems. Today, those displays showed something different: the wreckage of Battle Group 7. Fleet Admiral Zarketh stood at the central podium, his 8 tentacles rigid with tension. Around him sat the most powerful military leaders in the galaxy. Generals, admirals, intelligence directors, and strategic commanders had gathered within hours of receiving Victor's transmission. Everyone looked worried. "Battle Group 7 is gone," Zarketh announced, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. 12 warships destroyed in 8 minutes. 1,200 trained warriors dead or stranded. The attacker was a single, unidentified vessel. Silence filled the room. Then everyone started talking at once. "Possible," shouted General Corvin, a massive reptilian warrior. "1 ship cannot destroy a battle group." "It happened," Zarketh replied coldly. We have Admiral Victor's transmission and sensor data from the Fist of Dominion before it went dark. The facts are undeniable. War Minister Kreltok stood up. He was old even by Imperial standards, and had served in the military for over 200 years. His face showed 3 scars from 3 different wars. He commanded respect and fear in equal measure. "Show us the data," Kreltok demanded. Zarketh activated the holographic display. Everyone watched as the unknown vessel appeared, moved in impossible ways, and watched Imperial ships explode one by one. The recording showed no visible weapons fire from the attacker. Ships simply died. "By the ancients," whispered someone in the back. Intelligence Director Morvan Kreltok called out, "What do we know about this vessel?" A thin, gray-skinned figure stood up. Intelligence Director Morvan was known as the Empire's greatest spy master. If anyone had answers, it would be her. "We know very little," War Minister Morvan admitted. "The vessel matches no known design in our database. Its technology appears to be digital warfare-based. It did not destroy ships with physical weapons. Instead, it compromised their computer systems and caused internal failures." "Who built it?" asked Admiral Vexer. "Which species?" Morvan activated her personal console. A holographic image appeared, showing a blue and green planet. The vessel emerged from Restricted Zone 447, commonly called the Sol System. "The planet is Earth, home to a species called humans." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many council members had never heard of humans. "Show us their file," ordered Kreltok. Morvan pulled up the official Imperial survey from 200 years ago. The data appeared on all screens. Species, human. Homeworld, Earth. Third planet from Star Sol. Population, approximately 7 billion. Technology level, early nuclear age. Status, pre-spacefaring. Political structure, fragmented into competing nation-states engaged in regular warfare with each other. The report continued with more details. Humans used primitive chemical rockets for space exploration. They had weapons that could destroy cities but not planets. They fought constant wars among themselves over resources, territory, and ideology. The survey conclusion was simple. Humans would need at least 500 years, possibly 1,000, to unify their planet and develop proper space travel. "This survey is 2 centuries old," observed Admiral Yelkoth. "What is their current status?" Morvan's expression darkened. "That is the problem, Admiral. We do not know," demanded Kreltok. "Imperial protocol requires survey updates. Every 50 years for quarantined species," Morvan said. "We sent scout ships to Earth 3 times since the original survey. 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and 150 years ago. None of those ships returned." The chamber erupted into chaos. Dozens of voices shouted questions and accusations. Silence. Kreltok's voice cut through the noise like a blade. Everyone stopped talking. "Director Morvan, why were these missing ships not investigated?" Morvan looked uncomfortable. "Each disappearance was logged as equipment malfunction." War Minister. "Scout ships are small and occasionally fail. 3 ships over 150 years did not seem significant. The investigation requests were filed, but given low priority. No one suspected the humans were responsible. So these primitives have been destroying our ships for over a century," Kreltok said slowly, "and we ignored it." "It appears so, War Minister." Admiral Zarketh stepped forward again. "The humans may have been studying us while we ignored them. They learned about our technology by capturing our scout ships. They remained hidden, appearing primitive, while secretly advancing. That shows sophisticated strategic thinking," noted General Yurkin, the Empire's chief military strategist. "Most species, when they first encounter advanced civilizations, either worship them or challenge them. The humans did neither. They hid, watched, learned, and prepared." "That is terrifying. It shows cowardice," Kreltok argued. "They hid because they were afraid to face us directly." "Then why attack now?" asked Admiral Vexer. "Why reveal themselves by destroying Battle Group 7? No one had an answer. A junior analyst named Pelther raised his hand nervously. He was young, barely started his career in Imperial intelligence. "Excuse me, War Minister, may I speak?" Kreltok glared at him. Make it quick. I reviewed Admiral Victhair's flight path before the attack. Battle Group 7 was conducting standard patrol along the border of the human quarantine zone, but their route took them closer than usual to the Sol system. Perhaps the humans perceived this as a threat. Perhaps they attacked defensively, not aggressively. You are suggesting the mighty Galactic Empire provoked primitives into attacking us? Kreltox's voice was dangerous. Pelthar swallowed hard but continued. I am suggesting we do not understand their perspective, War Minister. If they truly can destroy battle groups, why have they not attacked our territory before? Why wait until our ships approach their system?
Oh.
Several council members nodded thoughtfully. Kreltok looked furious. It does not matter if they attacked offensively or defensively, Kreltok declared. No species destroys Imperial vessels without consequences. We must respond with overwhelming force. We must show the galaxy that the Empire cannot be challenged. I agree, we must respond, said Admiral Zarketh carefully. But we must also be wise. We do not understand their capabilities. Sending another fleet could result in another disaster. Then we send a fleet large enough that even mysterious technology cannot stop it, Kreltok replied. Battle Fleet Omega, 50 warships, including 5 dreadnoughts, the strongest force in the Empire. If the humans want war, we will give them war they cannot win. And if they do not want war, asked Intelligence Director Morven quietly, then they should not have destroyed our ships, Kreltok answered coldly. Before anyone could respond, a communication alert sounded. The communications officer monitoring channels from his station suddenly looked shocked. War Minister. Psst. We are receiving a transmission. It is addressed to Imperial High Command. Source, demanded Kreltok. The Sol system, War Minister. From Earth, from the humans. The entire chamber went silent. Every eye turned to the main display. Put it through, ordered Kreltok. The display activated. Instead of video, there was only audio. But the voice spoke in perfect galactic standard, the universal language used throughout the Empire. Greetings to the Galactic Empire. This message is from the people of Earth, humanity. The vessel your Battle Group 7 encountered was one of our ships operating on a peaceful research mission. When your fleet approached our territory with weapons active, our ship defended itself according to standard defensive protocols. We regret the loss of life. We seek no conflict with your empire. We desire only to be left in peace. However, understand this. We will not be threatened. We will not be conquered. We are humanity, and we are ready to talk if you are ready to listen. We await your response. The message ended. The chamber remained silent. War Minister Kreltok's face showed pure rage. Ready to talk, to destroy. An entire battle group, and then lecture us about peace? They also speak our language perfectly, observed Morvon. They've been listening to us for a very long time. Enough discussion, Kreltok announced. I am ordering Battle Fleet Omega to proceed to the Sol system immediately. They will establish contact with these humans, as the humans cooperate, and surrender those responsible for attacking Battle Group 7. We may show mercy. If they resist, they will be eliminated as an example to the galaxy. No one threatens the Empire. And if Battle Fleet Omega suffers the same fate as Battle Group 7, asked Admiral Yelkoth. Kreltok smiled grimly. Then we will know these. Humans are truly dangerous, and we will respond with the full might of the Imperial Armada. One way or another, this situation ends with humanity either kneeling or extinct. The vote was called. The majority agreed with Kreltok's plan. Battle Fleet Omega received orders to depart within 12 hours, as the council members filed out. Of the chamber, Intelligence Director Morven remained behind, staring at the holographic image of Earth. Something bothered her deeply. What troubles you, Director? Asked Admiral Zarketh, who had stayed as well. They are not acting like primitives, Admiral Morven replied. Their message was calculated, professional, diplomatic. They did not boast about their victory. They did not make threats. They offered to talk. It shows restraint and wisdom. Your point? Species with superior weapons usually want to use them. Species who have been oppressed usually seek revenge, but these humans do neither. They destroyed our fleet, but immediately offered peace. They are trying to avoid war despite having the power to wage it. Why? Zarkith considered this. Perhaps they are not as strong as they appear. Perhaps they fear a larger conflict. Or perhaps, Morven said slowly, they are exactly as strong as they appear, and they genuinely prefer peace. That would make them very different from any species we have encountered, and very dangerous, Zarkith added. Indeed, agreed Morven, because a species that can destroy with such ease but chooses not to has evolved beyond our understanding of power. Both of them stared at the image of Earth, the small blue planet that had just terrified the greatest empire in the galaxy. Part 3, First Contact. Protocol's Battle Fleet Omega emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. 50 warships, spread out in attack formation, weapons charged, and shields at maximum. Fleet Commander Sektar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the super dreadnought Imperial Wrath, and studied the sensor readings carefully. He ordered his sensor officer, a young Telvanni named Shiren, worked quickly. Multiple orbital structures detected around the third planet commander. We count 47 space stations of various sizes. Several smaller vessels moving between the planet and its moon. But I detect no military fleet, Sektar frowned. No warships at all? None that match standard military configurations, sir? The vessels appear to be cargo transports, passenger shuttles, and research ships. Show me, Sektar commanded. The main screen displayed the human solar system. Earth hung in space, a blue and white jewel. Round it orbited dozens of stations and hundreds of smaller craft. The activity levels suggested an advanced spacefaring civilization, not the primitive society described in imperial records. They've been busy these past 2 centuries, observed Sektar as second-in-command, Sub-Commander Relmoth. Too busy, Sektar replied. No species advances this quickly, naturally. They must have found ancient technology or received outside help. Or they are simply better at advancement than we assumed, Relmoth suggested carefully. Before Sektar could respond, his communications officer interrupted. Commander, we are receiving a transmission from Earth. Already. Sektar was surprised. We only just arrived. Audio or visual? Both, sir. They are requesting permission to send a diplomatic vessel to meet with us. Sektar considered this. War Minister Kreltok's orders were clear. Assess the threat. Demand surrender of those responsible for Battle Group 7's destruction and use force if the humans refused. But the orders also gave him discretion to gather intelligence first. Grant permission, Sektar decided. But have all weapons ready? If this is a trick, I want to respond immediately. Yes, Commander. 20 minutes later, a human ship approached. It was small, about the size of a shuttle, completely unarmed according to sensors. But it moved with the same strange fluidity that Admiral Vikther had reported. The ship seemed to glide through space, turning and adjusting course in ways that looked effortless. That vessel should not move like that, Shiren whispered. Its engine output is too low for those maneuvers. Note everything, Sektar ordered. Record all data about their technology. The human ship docked with the Imperial Wrath. Sektar went to the docking bay with 20 armed guards. Whatever happened next, he would be prepared. The airlock opened. 3 humans stepped through. Sektar studied them carefully. They looked exactly like the Imperial survey had described. Bipedal, 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head with 2 eyes. They wore simple gray uniforms with no visible weapons. 2 were male, 1 was female. The female stepped forward. I am Ambassador Alina Park, she said in perfect galactic standard. I represent the United Nations of Earth. Thank you for agreeing to meet with us, Fleet Commander Sektar. Sektar was startled. You know my name? Alina smiled. We have been monitoring your communications since you arrived. Your security encryption is excellent by galactic standards. It took our computers almost 3 minutes to break it. The casual admission shocked Sektar. Imperial encryption was supposedly unbreakable. This human announced they had cracked it, as if discussing the weather. You admit to spying on Imperial communications? Sektar asked. We admit to gathering information about a military fleet that entered our space, Alina replied calmly. just as you are gathering information about us. Let us be honest with each other, Commander. Neither of us trusts the other yet. Both of us are preparing for possible combat. Can we move past that and talk? Sektar gestured to a nearby conference room. This way. They sat across from each other at a long table. The human guards remained in the doorway. The Imperial guards did the same. Your Empire destroyed an Imperial battle group, Sektar began formally. 12 ships. 1,200 crew members. This is an act of war. Your battle group approached our territory with weapons powered and shields active, Elena replied. Our vessel was conducting peaceful research. When your Admiral Victor fired warning shots at us, our ship defended itself. This is an act of self-defense. Warning shots are not acts of aggression. To you, perhaps. But we did not know your intentions. From our perspective, an unknown military force approached our territory and began shooting. We responded appropriately. Sektar controlled his anger. Your ship destroyed an entire battle group in 8 minutes. Those were not defensive capabilities. That was overwhelming offensive power. Lena shook her head. Commander, everything is relative. Your battle group could destroy our city on Earth in minutes. From your perspective, you have overwhelming power. From our perspective, we were badly outnumbered and had to act quickly to survive. 12 ships against 1. And yet we survived and your ships did not. That should tell you something important, Commander. Sektar leaned forward. It tells me your technology is far beyond what you should possess. Our records show you were primitive 2 centuries ago. How did you advance so quickly? Elena's expression became serious. We never stopped advancing, Commander. When your empire first surveyed Earth, you found us fighting each other with nuclear weapons. You saw primitive, violent savages. You quarantined us and forgot about us. But we did not forget about you. Explain. Your survey ship was not as stealthy as you believed. We detected it. We studied it. We realized we were not alone in the universe and that other species were far more advanced than us. That knowledge changed everything. Lena stood and walked to the window overlooking Earth. Humanity has always been driven by fear and hope. Fear of the unknown, hope for a better future. When we learned about the galactic community, we felt both. We were terrified that advanced species might conquer or destroy us. But we hoped we could learn from you, grow, and eventually join you as equals. So you've studied our scout ships, Sektar said. Every single one you sent. We captured them carefully, examined them, learned from them. We studied your technology, your language, your culture, and we advanced our own science to match yours. That is impossible. It should take centuries. Elena turned back to him. Why? Because your empire says so? Commander, humanity unified our planet in just 50 years after discovering we were not alone. We ended our wars, combined our resources, focused our entire civilization on 2 goals: protect Earth and advance our technology. When survival is at stake, humans can achieve the impossible. One of Elena's companions, a man with dark skin and gray hair, spoke up. Commander, may I demonstrate something? Sektar nodded warily. The man activated a small device. A holographic projection appeared showing a ship's targeting computer. This is a simulation of an Imperial weapons system, based on those we studied from your scout ships. Very sophisticated. Very accurate. He pressed another button. A small probe, about the size of a ball, floated out of his pocket and hovered in the air. Please have one of your guards target this probe with their weapon, the man requested. Sektar gestured to his best marksman. The guard raised his energy rifle and aimed carefully. The targeting laser locked onto the probe. The guard fired. The energy blast missed completely, hitting the far wall. The guard looked confused. I had a perfect lock, Commander. Fire again, Sektar ordered. The guard fired 3 more times. Every shot missed. The probe did not move or dodge. It simply floated in the same spot. Elena's companion smiled. Your weapon did not miss. Your targeting computer told you the probe was in one location, but it was actually in a slightly different location. Our technology feeds false data to your sensors. Your weapons think they are aiming correctly, but they are not. Electronic warfare, Sektar realized. Precisely. This is how our civilian research vessel defended itself against Battle Group 7. We did not destroy your ships with weapons. We compromised your computer systems, caused your reactors to overload, disabled your safety protocols. Your ships destroyed themselves. Sektar felt cold. You were saying the vessel that destroyed Battle Group 7 was not even a warship? Correct, Alina confirmed. It was a research vessel equipped with standard defensive systems that all our ships carry. Commander, you have not seen our military yet. You have not seen our actual warships or our defensive fleet. You have only encountered civilian vessels with basic protection. You are bluffing, Sektar said, but his voice lacked confidence. Am I? Alina sat down again. Commander, let me be direct. We do not want war with your empire. We want to be left alone to live in peace. But if you force us to fight, you will lose. Not because we are stronger, we are not. Your empire has billions of soldiers and thousands of ships. We cannot match those numbers. But we do not need to. What do you mean? Your empire fights with overwhelming force. Massive fleets, heavy weapons, planetary bombardments. You defeat enemies by being stronger and larger. Humanity learned a different way. We fight by being smarter. We study our enemies, understand their technology, and find their weaknesses. We do not need to destroy 1,000 ships when we can disable them instead. We do not need to kill soldiers when we can turn their own weapons against them. Lena's voice became softer, almost sad. We watched your species, Commander. We watched the Empire. You are warriors, proud and strong. But you rely on your strength so much that you forgot to protect against intelligence. Your ships are powerful, but predictable. Your tactics are aggressive, but straightforward. Your technology is advanced, but vulnerable to those who understand it. We understand it. We have studied you for 200 years. The room was silent. Sektar knew he should be angry, but instead he felt something unfamiliar. Respect. These humans had done what no species had done before. They had turned imperial surveillance against the Empire itself. What do you want? Sektar asked finally. Peace, Alina answered simply. Recognize us as a sovereign species. Leave our territory alone. In exchange, we will share some of our defensive technology with you. Not our military secrets, but enough to help you protect your ships from similar attacks by other species. We will also agree to mediation. If disputes arise between us, we will talk rather than fight. And if we refuse, if we attack, Alina looked him directly in the eyes. Then your 50 ships will suffer the same fate as Battle Group 7. And the ships you send after that will also fail. Eventually, your empire will realize that conquering Earth costs more than leaving us alone. But many will die before that realization comes. We are offering you a better path. Sektar stood up. I must consult with my superiors. Of course. We will wait for your response. As Alina and her companions prepared to leave, Sektar stopped her. Ambassador, answer me one question honestly. If we had not fired those warning shots at your research vessel, what would have happened? Alina smiled sadly. Our ship would have greeted Admiral Victor, explained who we were, and politely asked him to respect our territory. We would have opened diplomatic channels. We would have started this conversation 2 weeks ago instead of today. We never wanted violence, Commander. But we will not be victims either. After the humans left, Sektar stood alone in the conference room, staring at Earth through the window. His communications officer's voice interrupted his thoughts. Commander, War Minister Kreltok is demanding a status report. Sektar took a deep breath. He knew what he had to say would be controversial. But he also knew it was the truth. Tell the War Minister that the humans are not primitives. They are sophisticated, intelligent, and powerful in ways we do not fully understand. Recommend immediate diplomatic negotiations rather than military action. Sir, the War Minister's orders were to demand surrender. I know what his orders were. But I have seen their capabilities firsthand. Attacking them would be a mistake. The communications officer hesitated. War Minister Kreltok will not be pleased, sir. No, Sektar agreed. He will not be. But I serve the Empire's interests, not his pride. Send my report. As the message transmitted back to Imperial headquarters, Sektar wondered if he had just saved the Empire or destroyed his own career. He would soon find out. Part 4. The Choice War Minister. Kreltok sat in his private command center aboard the orbital station above the Imperial capital planet. The walls displayed thousands of tactical screens showing Imperial forces across the galaxy. He was reviewing Commander Sektar's report for the third time, and his anger grew with each reading. Diplomatic negotiations, he muttered with disgust. These humans destroy an entire battle group, and Sektar wants to negotiate with them. His aide, a nervous young officer named Pikthar, stood nearby. Commander Sektar's report suggests the humans possess significant technological advantages. War Minister. Perhaps caution is wise. Kreltok glared at him. Caution is for the weak. The Empire does not negotiate from a position of fear. We demand, we command. We conquer, yes, War Minister. Kreltok activated the communication system. Get me Commander Sektar immediately. Moments later, Sektar's image appeared on the holographic display. He stood on the bridge of the Imperial Wrath, his expression calm but guarded. War Minister Sektar greeted formally. Commander, I have read your report. You recommend negotiation with these primitives who murdered over 1,000 Imperial warriors. With respect, War Minister, they defended themselves against what they perceived as aggression. Their actions, while devastating, were not unprovoked. I do not care about their perspective, Kreltok shouted. I care about Imperial authority. No species attacks our ships without severe punishment. Punishing them may cost us more ships and more lives, Sektar argued carefully. Their electronic warfare capabilities are beyond anything in our database. They can disable our weapons systems, compromise our ship computers, and enough. Kreltok interrupted. I did not send Battlefleet Omega to be lectured about human superiority. I sent you to demonstrate Imperial power. Sektar straightened. My orders were to assess the threat and use my discretion. I have assessed the threat. It is significant. Attacking them would be a strategic error. Your discretion is noted and rejected, Kreltok said coldly. I am issuing you a direct order, Commander. You will seize the human ambassador and her companions as prisoners. You will then target the human capital city and prepare to fire. When the humans see we are serious, they will surrender. If they do not, you will destroy their capital as an example. Sektar's face showed shock. War Minister, that would kill millions of civilians. Then they should have thought about that before attacking us. Sir, I strongly recommend against this course of action. The humans have warned us. I do not care about their warnings. Kreltok's voice was ice. You have your orders, Commander. Execute them immediately, or I will find someone who will. The connection ended. Sektar stood frozen on his bridge, surrounded by his officers. Every one of them had heard the exchange. They all looked at him, waiting for his decision. Sub-Commander Relmoth stepped forward. Commander, what are your orders? Sektar's mind raced. He had served the Empire for 30 years. He had followed orders without question, even when those orders cost lives. But this felt different. This felt wrong. Before he could answer, his communications officer spoke urgently. Commander, I am detecting an override signal from Imperial Command. They are accessing our weapon systems remotely. What? Sektar rushed to the tactical console. On the screen, he watched as 10 of his ships broke formation, their weapons powered up, targeting the human diplomatic vessel that was still docked with the Imperial Wrath. War Minister Kreltok has taken direct control of Squadron 7, reported the tactical officer. They are preparing to fire on the humans. Countermand those orders. Sektar commanded. I am Fleet Commander. I cannot, sir. The override comes from Imperial Authority, Level 1. Only the Emperor or War Council can issue those codes. Sektar watched helplessly as 10 warships aimed their weapons at the small section of his own. Flagship where Alina Park and her companions were, located, then something extraordinary happened. The 10 warships went dark. Their engines shut down. Their weapons powered off. Their lights dimmed to emergency levels only. They hung in space, completely disabled, drifting on momentum alone. Report, Sektar demanded. All 10 ships have suffered total systems failure, Commander. Life support is on minimum. Everything else is offline. Sektar understood immediately. The humans had done it again. They had disabled the ships before they could fire. His communications panel activated. Elena Park's face appeared, but she was not in the docking bay anymore. She was somewhere else on his ship, in a room he did not recognize. Commander Sektar, she said calmly, I apologize for disabling your ships. We had no choice. Those vessels were preparing to attack us. Where are you? Sektar asked. We are in a secure location aboard your flagship. When we came aboard, we installed several small devices throughout the ship. Nothing harmful. Just monitoring equipment so we could protect ourselves if necessary. We hoped we would not need to use them. The humans had been inside his ship's systems the entire time, and his security had not detected them. You could have disabled the entire fleet, Sektar realized. Why only those 10 ships? Because we do not want to hurt you, Elena replied. We want to work with you. But we will not allow ourselves to be attacked. Those 10 ships were about to fire on us. We stopped them. The rest of your fleet remains untouched because they posed no threat. Suddenly, the space around Earth changed. Dozens of ships appeared out of nowhere, materializing as if they had been invisible. They surrounded Battlefleet Omega completely. These vessels were different from the research ship that had destroyed Battle Group 7. They were larger, more angular, clearly designed for combat. Those ships were there the entire time, Sektar whispered. Cloaked, watching us. Yes, Elena confirmed. Our defensive fleet. They have been monitoring this meeting since you arrived. If your war minister had succeeded in ordering an attack, they would have disabled every ship in your fleet. But we did not want that outcome. We wanted this conversation. Relmuth spoke quietly near Sektar. Commander, we never had a chance. If they wanted us destroyed, we would already be dead. Sektar knew his second-in-command was right. The humans had been in complete control from the moment Battlefleet Omega arrived. They could have destroyed the fleet or disabled it entirely. Instead, they had waited, talked, tried to make peace. Only when directly threatened did they act, and even then they used minimal force. Ambassador Park, Sektar said slowly, You spoke about understanding your enemies. You have been studying us for 2 centuries. You know our tactics, our technology, our weaknesses. But do you understand our pride? Elena's expression softened. Yes, Commander. We understand pride very well. Humans have destroyed themselves with pride many times throughout our history. We learned from those mistakes. Pride should not come before wisdom. The Empire will never accept being told what to do by a species we once considered primitive. We are not telling you what to do. We are offering you a choice. Work with us and grow stronger together, or fight us and grow weaker alone. We prefer the first option, but we will accept either outcome. Sektar made his decision. Communications, get me a direct channel to the Imperial Palace, not the War Council. I need to speak with the Emperor himself. His communications officer looked shocked. Commander, that requires emergency authorization. This is an emergency, Sektar said firmly. Do it. It took several minutes to establish the connection. When it finally came through, Emperor Thalzarin himself appeared on the display. He looked ancient, his scales faded with age, but his eyes were sharp and intelligent.
At Commander Sektar, the Emperor said.
This is highly irregular. What emergency requires direct contact with me? Sektar straightened to full attention. Your Majesty, I am requesting permission to negotiate a treaty with the humans. War Minister Kreltok ordered me to take hostile action against them. I believe this would be a catastrophic mistake. You're contradicting your superior officer. Yes, Your Majesty, because my loyalty is to the Empire, not to individual pride. The humans possess technology that can neutralize our entire fleet. They demonstrated this twice now, but they do not wish to fight us. They offer cooperation and mutual benefit. I believe we should accept. Emperor Thalzarin was silent for a long moment. His expression was unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "Show me these humans." Sektar gestured to his communications officer, who split the screen. Alina Park's image appeared next to the Emperor's. Ambassador Park. The Emperor said formally, "I am Thalzarin, Emperor of the Galactic Empire. You have caused quite a disturbance in my territory." Alina bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, we apologize for the loss of life in our encounter with Battle Group 7. We seek only to defend our territory and live in peace. Yet you destroyed 12 of my ships and disabled 10 more. We defended ourselves when attacked, Your Majesty. In both cases, Imperial forces fired first or prepared to fire. We responded appropriately." "Appropriately," the Emperor repeated thoughtfully. "Tell me, Ambassador, if you possess such superior technology, why not conquer your neighbors? Why not expand your territory? This is what powerful species typically do." Alina smiled sadly. "Because we remember what it was like to be powerless, Your Majesty. We remember being surveyed by your ships, knowing that advanced civilizations existed while we fought each other with primitive weapons. We felt fear. We felt insignificance. We do not wish to make other species feel that way." A noble sentiment. But nobility does not win wars. With respect, Your Majesty, winning wars is not the same as winning peace. We have studied your empire's history. You have conquered thousands of worlds and defeated countless enemies. You are unquestionably powerful. But that power comes at a cost: constant rebellion, endless military spending, diplomatic isolation. What if there was a better way? The Emperor leaned forward, interested. What way would that be? Partnership, Your Majesty. We could share our defensive technology with you. Not our military secrets, but enough to help protect your ships from electronic warfare attacks. In return, you recognize us as a sovereign species and establish formal diplomatic relations. We could even serve as neutral mediators in disputes between Empire members. Our technology allows us to verify facts objectively, which could reduce conflicts. You are asking me to treat you as equals. Despite your small territory and limited population, we are asking you to treat us as partners, Your Majesty. Partners bring different strengths to a relationship. You have size, experience, and established infrastructure. We have adaptable technology and fresh perspectives. Together, we could both benefit." Emperor Thalzarin looked at Sektar. "Commander, your honest assessment? Can we defeat the humans if we commit our full military strength?" Sektar chose his words carefully. "Eventually, yes, Your Majesty. We could overwhelm them with sheer numbers. But the cost would be devastating. We would lose thousands of ships and hundreds of thousands of lives. Their defensive systems would force us to completely redesign our technology. The war could last decades. And even if we won, we would gain only one small solar system, while spending resources that could be used elsewhere. And if we accept their offer, we gain a potential ally with unique capabilities, Your Majesty. We demonstrate that the Empire can evolve and adapt. We show wisdom rather than just strength." The Emperor was silent again, thinking. Everyone waited. The fate of humanity, and perhaps the Empire itself, hung on his next words. Finally, Emperor Thalzarin spoke. "Ambassador Park, I've ruled this empire for 300 years. In that time I have seen countless species kneel before us. Some begged for mercy. Others fought until extinction. But never has a species offered us terms. Never has anyone stood before imperial might and suggested partnership rather than surrender." Lena waited, her expression calm. "I find it refreshing," the Emperor continued. "Commander Sektar, you are authorized to negotiate a treaty with the humans. Inform War Minister Kreltok that his orders are countermanded by Imperial authority. The humans have earned the right to be heard." Lena smiled with genuine relief. "Thank you, Your Majesty." "Do not thank me yet, Ambassador. Treaties must be negotiated, approved, and implemented. Many in the Empire will oppose this, but I am curious to see where this path leads."
Oh.
The Emperor's image disappeared. Sektar turned to his crew. "You heard the Emperor? We negotiate. Recall all ships to neutral positions. Someone get those 10 disabled vessels back online, As his crew rushed to execute orders, Sektar felt something he had not felt in years. Hope. Maybe the Empire could change after all. Part 5. New Galactic Order. 3 months had passed since Emperor Thalzarin authorized negotiations with humanity. In that time, the galaxy had watched with fascination and fear as the mighty Galactic Empire sat at a negotiating table with a species most had never heard of. Ambassador Elena Park stood in the Great Hall of the Imperial Palace, surrounded by thousands of representatives from across the Empire. Today was the formal treaty signing ceremony. Today, humanity would officially join the galactic community. She felt nervous but tried not to show it. Beside her stood 2 other human ambassadors, James Chen, a former military commander, and Amaro Okonkwo, a brilliant scientist who had helped develop humanity's defensive systems. They represented Earth and all its colonies. Across from them sat Emperor Thalzarin on his massive throne. Around him stood members of the War Council, including Fleet Commander Sektar, who had been promoted to Admiral after his successful negotiations. Notably absent was War Minister Kreltok. The Emperor rose and spoke. His voice amplified throughout the hall and broadcast across the galaxy. 3 months ago, humanity revealed itself to the Empire in a manner that shocked us all. They demonstrated capabilities we did not expect and wisdom we did not anticipate. Today we formalize our relationship with them. The treaty has been reviewed and approved by the War Council. Ambassador Park, please approach. Elena walked forward, her footsteps echoing in the silent hall. She carried a datapad containing the treaty terms. Your Majesty, she began formally, the United Nations of Earth accepts this treaty with gratitude and commitment. We pledge to honor its terms and work toward mutual prosperity between our peoples. The Emperor took the datapad and placed his mark upon it, the Imperial seal glowing as it activated. By Imperial authority, I recognize humanity as a sovereign species with full diplomatic rights within the Galactic Empire. Welcome to the greater community, Ambassador Park. Applause filled the hall, though Elena noticed it was not universal. Many representatives looked uncomfortable or even angry. Change was never easy, especially for those who benefited from the old ways. After the ceremony, Elena found herself in a private meeting with Emperor Thalzarin and Admiral Sektar. The treaty is signed, the Emperor said, but understand that many oppose it. War Minister Kreltok resigned in protest. He has significant support among military traditionalists. We expected resistance, Your Majesty, Elena replied. Change always creates discomfort. More than discomfort, Ambassador. Kreltok is gathering supporters. He claims you tricked us with technology and that humanity poses an existential threat to the Empire. He may attempt to overturn the treaty, Sektar added. We have intelligence suggesting he is planning something. A demonstration of some kind to prove that negotiating with humans was a mistake. What can we do? Elena asked. The Emperor smiled slightly. You can do what you do best, Ambassador. Demonstrate that cooperation benefits everyone. Over the following weeks, humanity began sharing their defensive technology as promised. Not the complete systems, but the principles behind them. Imperial engineers were amazed by the elegant simplicity of human electronic warfare protocols. Instead of building bigger weapons, humans had learned to understand and manipulate digital systems at a fundamental level. It is like learning to think differently, explained one Imperial engineer to his colleagues. We have always focused on brute force solutions. The humans focus on efficient solutions. Same goals, different paths. The shared technology began improving Imperial defensive systems. Ships became harder to hack, computers more secure, networks more resilient. The benefits were immediate and obvious, but not everyone was pleased. 2 months after the treaty signing, War Minister Kreltok made his move. He had not been idle during his resignation. He had gathered over 50 retired military officers, all decorated veterans, all opposed to the human treaty. Together, they attempted a coup. The plan was simple: seize control of the Imperial Palace, force the Emperor to abdicate, install a new government that would reject the human alliance and reassert traditional Imperial values. They had significant support from hardline factions within the military. The coup attempt began at dawn. Kreltok's forces moved quickly, using their knowledge of Imperial security to bypass many defenses. Within hours, they controlled key facilities around the palace. But they had made one critical miscalculation. They had not accounted for Admiral Sektar. Broadcast on emergency channels. War Minister Kreltok is attempting a coup against the Emperor. I am activating emergency protocols. Defend the palace and protect the Emperor. The Imperial Guard rallied to Sektar's command. Battle broke out in the capital city as loyal forces clashed with coup supporters in the Imperial Palace. Emperor Thalzarin remained calm in his secure chambers. He was protected by his personal guard and by something new, human defensive systems that Alina Park had helped install after the treaty was signed. Kreltok himself led the assault on the palace. His forces breached the outer walls and pushed toward the throne room. Victory seemed close. Then every weapon in his army shut down simultaneously. Energy rifles went dead. Battle armor locked up. Communication systems went silent. Transport vehicles stopped moving. Thousands of soldiers found themselves standing with useless equipment, facing loyal Imperial guards whose weapons still worked perfectly. Kreltok realized what had happened. The humans. They sabotaged our equipment. He was partially right. Human technology had indeed disabled his force's equipment, but it had been implemented by Imperial engineers, authorized by the Emperor, and activated by Admiral Sektar. This was not human interference. This was the Empire using human-designed tools to protect itself. The coup collapsed within hours. Kreltok and his supporters were arrested. The Emperor had survived, and his authority was reinforced. In the aftermath, Alina met with the Emperor again. Your technology saved my empire from civil war, Thalzarin said. We used your defensive systems not against an external enemy, but against those who would harm us from within. This is the real value of what you offer, not just military strength, but stability and security. We are glad we could help, Your Majesty, Alina replied, though I am sorry it was necessary. Kreltok believed that strength only comes from domination and force. He could not understand that true strength comes from adaptability and wisdom. You humans understand this because you had to learn it to survive. The Emperor stood and walked to a window overlooking his capital city. For 10,000 years, the Empire has ruled through military might. We conquered those who opposed us and demanded submission from those who could not resist. It worked well. We built the largest civilization in the galaxy. But it also made us rigid, predictable, vulnerable. He turned back to Alina. You humans spent 200 years studying us while we ignored you. You learned all our weaknesses without revealing your own strengths. That showed strategic brilliance. Then, when you finally revealed yourselves, you did not try to destroy us or conquer us. You offered cooperation. That showed wisdom. We learned from watching your empire, Your Majesty. We saw that conquest creates resentment, and resentment creates rebellion. We decided that if we ever met you, we would seek partnership instead. And now you have it, the Emperor confirmed. But I must ask you something honestly, Ambassador. That ship that destroyed Battle Group 7, was it truly a civilian research vessel as you claimed? Alina smiled slightly. Yes and no, Your Majesty. It was a research vessel studying defensive technologies. But all our ships, civilian and military, carry similar defensive systems. We do not separate our technology the way you do. Every human ship can defend itself if necessary, in your actual military fleet. The warships that appeared when Kreltok's forces tried to attack, they exist, Your Majesty. But they are designed for defense, not conquest. We have no interest in expanding our territory. We only want to protect what we have. The Emperor nodded slowly. I believe you, Ambassador, and I think that is why this alliance will work. You have the power to threaten us, but no desire to do so. We have the size to overwhelm you, but now recognize the cost would be too high. Both sides benefit from cooperation. Both sides lose from conflict. That is the foundation of lasting peace. Months turned into years. The human alliance transformed the Empire in unexpected ways. Smaller species, encouraged by humanity's example, began requesting better treatment and more diplomatic representation. The Empire, rather than crushing these requests as it might have done before, began negotiating. Admiral Sektar became one of the Empire's most respected leaders. He championed the human approach to problem-solving, understanding challenges, finding efficient solutions. And preferring prevention over punishment, Alina Park became a permanent fixture in Imperial politics. She mediated disputes between species, helped resolve conflicts before they became wars, and quietly advocated for reform. Her presence reminded everyone that even the smallest species could change the galaxy if they were smart enough and brave enough. 5 years. After first contact, Alina stood on the observation deck of a new joint human-Imperial space station orbiting between Earth and the Empire's nearest major world. The station represented cooperation between two civilizations that had once seemed destined for war. James Chen joined her, looking out at the stars. "Strange how things worked out," he said. "We spent 200 years preparing for the Empire to attack us. Instead, we ended up saving them from themselves." "We did not save them," Elena corrected. "We offered them tools and ideas. They chose to use them. That is an important distinction." "Do you think the alliance will last?" "Nothing lasts forever, James, but I think we have bought ourselves time. Time to grow, time to learn, time to become true partners, rather than just allies of convenience." Amara Okonkwo joined them, carrying a datapad. "The latest reports from Imperial engineers. They have adapted our defensive protocols to work with their newest ship designs. Efficiency has improved by 40%, and vulnerability to cyber attacks has dropped by 70%. "Good," Elena said. "The stronger they become, the less they need to fear others. Fear drives aggression. Security allows cooperation." "Very philosophical," James teased. "Did you learn that from the Emperor?" Elena laughed. "I learned it from human history. We spent millennia fighting each other out of fear and greed. When we finally learned to cooperate, we accomplished more in 50 years than we had in the previous 1,000. The Empire is learning the same lesson now." The three of them stood in comfortable silence, watching Earth and the stars beyond. "Do you think there are other species out there?" Amara asked. "Beyond the Empire? Other civilizations we have not met yet?" "Definitely," Alina replied. "The galaxy is vast. We have explored only a tiny fraction of it. When we meet them," James said, "we will be ready. We learn to survive by being smart. We join the galaxy by being wise. Whatever comes next, humanity will adapt." "That is what we do best," Alina agreed, far away in the Imperial Palace. Emperor Thalzarin reviewed reports of expanding trade between human and Imperial worlds. Resources were being shared. Technology was being exchanged. New diplomatic channels were opening with previously hostile species who saw the human alliance as proof that the Empire could change. He activated a personal communication channel to his most trusted advisor. "The human alliance has exceeded my expectations," he said. "They have made us stronger without weakening themselves. They have shown us new ways of thinking without demanding we abandon our culture. This is true partnership." "Will the Empire accept this new direction, Your Majesty?" His advisor asked. "Some will resist. Others will embrace it. But change is necessary for survival. Species that cannot adapt eventually die. Empires that cannot evolve eventually fall. The humans taught us this lesson. I intend to make sure we learn it well." He looked at Earth on his display, that small blue planet that had changed everything. "They were afraid of us for 200 years, he continued. "But instead of letting fear paralyze them, they used it to motivate themselves. They adapted, they grew, they prepared. And when the time came, they were ready to face us as equals. That is remarkable. What is our next step, Your Majesty?" The Emperor smiled. "We continue learning from them. We continue growing. And we prepare for whatever comes next, together." In the Imperial Archives, deep in the Palace Library, a clerk updated Humanity's file one final time.